This is my friend Elizabeth Marberry, who is so amazing and so generous. And all of you, if you haven't already followed her, you're going to have so much fun going to her Instagram. So I'm going to keep this to 30 minutes to really be respectful of your time. So I'm handing it right to you. Just a quick tell us who you are, what you want to know, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored that you all took the time to collect today and pour some energy into your businesses. And thank you so much for just having me. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here. So yes, I'm Elizabeth Marberry and I am a small business owner. I actually own two separate businesses. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years. I own a brick and mortar dance studio here in Denver, Colorado. And in the last, as a business owner for 13 years, I was always, marketing my business and using SEO and word of mouth and testimonials and just trying to figure out, the best way to attract new leads to my business. And then in the last 2 years, we really like doubled down on our Instagram and TikTok efforts of really showing up consistently. And I just want to tell you all that I started my dance studio business account at 650 followers and it was stuck there forever, like to the point where I was just like, why do I even post here? Like, what's the point? And today we are at over 50,000 followers on Instagram and over 35,000 followers on TikTok. And, and what's cool about that, because we all know that like, okay, followers are great, but followers don't pay your bills, right? So what was so exciting about that is that when we really learned how to, what I call play the game of Instagram, we were able to attract over 4,000 prospective clients to our email list. We were able to increase our revenue by 84%. I got some incredible PR opportunities. I got to be interviewed on a morning show, the biggest morning show in the UK. So like, I just want to let you all know that this platform is available to all of us. Like that's what I love about it is it's available to each and every one of us. And it's just whether or not you're going to kind of put in that effort to learn and master. So that way you can grow your business on Instagram. So that's a little bit of my story. I also have a personal brand, which is really why I'm here, which is coaching other small business owners to do what I did and blow up their businesses on social media. So I have a personal brand that I also grew from zero to now over 30,000 followers. And I've done it now 3 or 4 times. So I feel like I want to help other people kind of shortcut that process and not fall on their face as much as I did during that time. So that's the
I,
intro.
I love that. So, and if you have anything that comes up and you want to put it in the chat, go ahead because I will try to keep my eye on that. So, I have a few questions. One is, how much time do you spend on Instagram a day? I'm always curious, like to do what you do, what does that look like
Oh
time
my God.
wise?
I love that question. So right now, like where I'm at now, I spend 30 minutes a day. That's it. 30 minutes a day. Um, when I was first starting out, it took longer than that. Right. Because, if you don't know what you're doing, it's just like anything else. If you're training for a marathon, you don't just like run out the door and run a marathon and you're like, yep, done, easy. So it's like a skill, like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. But 30 minutes a day is what I do. And I have lots of different systems in place. And now that I've created so much content, I know what works for me. So I can hammer it out quickly. And there's days too that now, I will, if I need to take a break, I'll do that as well.
Okay. I love that. And that sounds doable to me. Is it this real
Cool.
quick follow up? Are you talking about 5 days a week or seven? I just want to make sure.
That's a good question. It depends on the week. When I For me to get to the level that I'm at, like to get to that size of both of my accounts, it was a full year of me showing up every single day.
Yeah.
It was 7 days a week. Now, does that mean that like on my good weeks, I would do the work during the week because I have two young kids, you guys. So it's not like I'm just like twirling my thumbs on the weekends. Like I'm, and I don't want to be like stuck on Instagram all weekend either. So I would sometimes like pre-record and then on the weekend I would go into my room and be like, all right, I have 10 minutes to like edit and post this. So I wasn't necessarily like creating the content, if that makes sense. I wasn't like filming necessarily. Ideally, I would film a couple things ahead, or I would just like be super lazy, which I totally recommend, and like going back and like finding an old video and then like putting my content over it. So there's lots of ways to do it. Because I definitely value time off with my family and I've had to work to kind of build those boundaries.
So I love that. And it brings me perfectly into this question. Are there any tools that you recommend using to help make reels or posts? And I think you're like the reels queen. So you can lead with reels. You don't even have to talk about posts. But are there tools that can help us with that? Or what are your favorites?
Uh, I don't use a lot of tools. Like you mean like editing tools?
Yeah, like people
Yeah,
say you have to have CapCut. Like, do you have one of those? Is there
I
a
got
have
you.
to?
Oh my
Right?
gosh. I know. So yes, I have CapCut. I rarely ever use it. My recommendation to you is to get really good at editing in one platform. I've decided from the very beginning, I edit all of my reels in Instagram. So I've like mastered that. And it's kind of a toss up in the industry. I've heard both perspectives. Some people say that Instagram like rewards you sort of if you edit in their app. And then I saw something recently that was like, no, that's bunk. They don't care. Just so everyone has a different opinion about it. So I think to cut through the confusion, what I would say to you is please just pick one. Like CapCut is a whole nother game of editing, right? For me, Instagram always felt the simplest, and I'm all about simplicity. So like, let's not overcomplicate things. So I really mastered editing in Instagram. So I film in Instagram. One hack that I have is because Instagram can crash, like you could post it, it could be totally wrong. Like there's issues all the time. So when I'm editing in Instagram or I'm filming in Instagram, I always save everything I film to my camera roll before I post it. So that is a hot tip that if you're not already doing that, make sure you always do that. Like even like when I'm recording and I'm like, oh, that was total bunk. Like that was not a good video. I'm not going to use it. I'll still save it because there could be like a moment in the video where I did like a really funny face or something. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I'm going to use that 3 second like random thing I did for this 3 second audio. So like just save everything to your camera roll. But yeah, I like to edit in Instagram. And then before I post my reel, and this is another hot tip, when I have like all of my text on my video, you guys should definitely be using text on your videos if you're not doing that for accessibility. And because most people are consuming the app without the sound on. So otherwise they're just guessing at what your reel's about if you don't have any text on your screen. But so let's say I've edited it, I have my text, and before I post it, I always save my final copy. And then that video is on my phone, and then I can upload it to TikTok and add audio from TikTok onto that. And so I can repurpose my content from Instagram to TikTok. So I do that quite a bit. But yes, and then one other tool that I'm not using yet, but I'm actually looking at starting to use is called ManyChat. Have you heard about ManyChat? It's
Tell us
like,
because I did hear recently. So, but you tell us what's exciting to you about it, why you're interested.
yeah,
We might be too. Let's see.
yeah. So it automates your DMs. So it's like a bot, but here's why it's really cool is let's say you are promoting a master class for your business or you're promoting a course or whatever it is. You could create like a piece of really compelling content and then say, DM me the word course. and I'll be sure to share more information with you. So right now, when that what happens to me, because I do that quite a bit on my feed, people DM me and then I go in and I have to, I type out the message to them. And of course I want it to be personal, but it's quite a bit of time. So ManyChat, you can automate that. So it's not necessarily required in the beginning when you're building your brand. I think for me, I was able to do it, but like with my dance studio brand, there was one time where I got over 100 direct messages of, yes, I want this freebie. And it took me like hours to direct message these people.
Yeah.
So
Gosh.
yeah, so
And
it's about
and,
automating your direct messages.
and is it MANY chat?
Yeah.
Okay, ManyChat. Okay, ManyChat. Yes. That's all. That's so good. Okay. So, and I want to make sure we're checking the chat just in case I miss anything. Grabbing your water. Jen Cox is asking, do you find that interaction from real video styles resonate with TikTok users? Like the exact same reel on TikTok does well on Instagram and vice versa? Or do you feel like it needs to be different content?
That's a great question. So, in my experience, and I can just speak to my experience because you should always just be testing. You should always be testing. What's funny is that some of the videos that totally flop on Instagram, like go do really well on TikTok, and then vice versa. I have had a video go viral on Instagram that I posted on TikTok and also went viral, so that can happen. What I found with TikTok is it's all about like, even more so, like if to go viral, it really has to be super high value. So like the inspirational reels don't do as well. It has to be like, oh my gosh, like in my business, I shared, this is a first dance entrance that you could do for your first dance. So that goes viral because it's very actionable. Like people can do it. So you want to think about like, what's one little piece of your pie that you can just give away. And of course, that establishes yourself as an expert in the field. It builds that know, like, and trust factor. So people are like, oh my gosh, she totally knows what she's talking about. This is amazing. But and I will tell you too, like I'm a lazy TikToker. I mean, it's what I found is it's much easier to grow on TikTok, honestly, than Instagram. Like if I had more time, I would save my video without the text on Instagram. And then I would upload it into TikTok and then I would use the text in TikTok. That would probably do better for me, but I am lazy in that way because I'm just like, it's good enough. So I save my Instagram reel with my text that's in Instagram. And then I put it on TikTok and it still does really well. But the reason why we do so well is we're super niche down. So like we know exactly who our client is, how we're going to help them. It's not broad, it's very narrow. And the more narrow you can be and the more clear you can speak to that one person, you're going to do much better on both platforms, honestly.
And in creating a brand, which I talk about a lot. So that is so good to hear. I can't wait for your response to this question. I'm so interested. What is the biggest mistake that you see small businesses make on Instagram? What would you wish that you could just say, oh, stop doing that?
Oh my gosh. I want you to stop imagining that your Instagram is like a catalog for your business. Like, stop doing that. Like, that's what I did forever. And that's why I was stuck at 650 followers that is the biggest like brain jump that you have to make when you're playing the game. So an example is for my wedding business, it was like you would go and you would see past clients and their testimonials and our offers. And it was like this little catalog of like, look at Elizabeth's like past work. Like, isn't this great? No one cares about that. Okay. They care about what's in it for them. Okay. So I'm not saying don't sprinkle in testimonials. I think testimonials can be great. But that should not be like your content strategy. Your content strategy needs to be about them, not you. Does that make sense? So that's a big one. And it takes a hot minute. It really does. Like it takes a hot minute to say, okay, here, like obviously we're all here because we're selling our services or products, right? So you're like, okay, how do I create something that that is that provides value and helps my ideal client with this problem and is it's almost like, yeah, I just keep going back to like it's not about you, it's about them, and trusting that by doing that you are establishing yourself as the expert, right, as the leader in the field. And so every time I create a piece of content, and I'm actually mentoring, I just hired a studio manager and I'm mentoring her and taking over our social media content for that business, which is a big deal, you guys. Like, letting go of control, as a business owner, you're like, oh my God.
Delegating.
Yeah, delegating. And I'm seeing her make those classic mistakes that I see a lot of people make. So she made this like great reel, and then the top of her caption says like, click the link in our bio for this. No, no, that's not like, you need to make social media social, right? So how do you get in conversation with your people? How do you activate them? You telling me to click the link in your bio doesn't activate me. It's like, and I do that all the time in my business, but in a very specific way. So you don't lead with that. Does that make sense? So I hope that that's helpful. That was like a roundabout way of answering your question.
No, that's hugely helpful. Just the concept of it's not about me, it's about them, it's about the value. That's a massive mindset shift. And what I love is that it's in alignment with the idea of if we're trying too much to show that we have credibility, we instantly don't have credibility. It's instantly like looks desperate. So it's a reminder also to not have to do, you don't have to do that. Just what is it of value that you're offering? I love it. So that was great. Jen had a great question in the chat is how do you, without spending hours and hours on Instagram and TikTok, how do you find out where the trends are? How do you know what's trending? Do you see the comment, or I could read it, I guess, word for word. I was paraphrasing.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to get stuck into your doom scroll. That's what I call it. You do not want to doom scroll and then you've lost hours of your life and you feel like you're going to fall asleep. We want to avoid that, right? So what I do is I scroll with intention, y'all. And I use these platforms for my business primarily. I don't use them personally very much. So that helps, honestly, because if you go in and you're like, oh, look at Auntie's baby. Oh my gosh, how cute. And then you're like, so you have to almost like be disciplined in how you're deciding to use the app, if that makes sense. So I'm very segmented and I'm very disciplined in how I use it in that way, because to me, I'm here to market my business and connect with people and help people and serve my people. And I don't have time for all the other fluff, because that's what pulls me in. So here's what I would recommend. Set a timer. Okay. So on your phone, sometimes I'll set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, something really short. And then I say to myself, okay, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to first and foremost, I listen for the sounds first. So I don't even watch the videos. I set a timer so I don't get sucked in. And I know when the timer goes off, I'm done. And I will start scrolling through, and then I'm just listening. I'm not even watching the videos because sometimes the videos are so distracting, right? But I'm just listening and I'm like, ooh, that sound resonates with my brand. I could totally use that sound. And then when I hear it and I like it, I look and see if it has that upward arrow. You guys know about that upward arrow to identify trending audios? Do you guys know about that? Yes. Okay, great. So if I'm listening and I'm like, ooh, I like that one. Ooh, that's my brand. Ooh, it's trending. Then I'll click on it and I'll save that audio. Okay. Then I go back and sometimes when I do that, you guys, I will hear an audio and then I'll immediately have a cool idea and then I'll go do it. And I swear to God, I'll do it in like 5 to 10 minutes and post it. Occasionally that happens. If you're just like super inspired and you just do it. But usually I'm like just saving it and then I'm scrolling. And so I'll do that for like, I'll do that where I probably end up saving like, yes, there's that arrow. Yeah, there's the arrow. So that's how you know if a audio is trending. And then I'll usually save, I don't know, like probably like 5 sounds or something. And then I'll scroll with my eyeballs. Okay. So now I'm not scrolling with my ears, I'm scrolling with my eyeballs. And I'm like looking for ideas. Like, I'll look and be like, ooh, I like how she did that, or ooh, I like that hook, or ooh, I could do that. Like this person is a fitness trainer and totally different niche, but like I liked how she said this. I could plug in my own industry jargon into that. So like I will save the reels that I like, that inspire me or are helpful. Like I've been saving a lot of reels lately that are like chat GPT tips, and not that I'm like pro using that, but I want to learn how to use it. I want to explore it. I think it's worth exploring. So like I'll like, if it's helpful to me as a business owner, like I'll save it if I want to come back to it. And then like, boom, the timer went off. And then now when I actually go to create my content, I don't have to be like, okay, what am I going to do? I can just go in and like hit my audios and be like, okay, which one do I like? Or which one is inspiring me today? Or if I'm like, oh, I have no idea, I'll go into my saved posts and see like the visual things. And usually something will activate me.
I love that. We have 2 more questions that I think are really cool because they follow up with the things you're saying. You're sparking so much and I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Penny asked, do you start a conversation with a question or providing information?
Oh my gosh, I love that. I would say it's a both and situation. So 100% ask a question, right? Like if I just am coming at you guys and I'm spilling all this information and then I'm just like quiet, then we're not connecting really, right? So there has to be, so take like how you interact with people in real life into social media, right? Like ask questions, like be curious and be willing to like have people disagree with you too. Like I'll post something and be like, was this helpful? Yes or no? And I would be totally fine if someone said no. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to, yeah. Right? Like ask a question. But the other part, Penny, that I love what you said, because you're really thinking about this in the right way, is one of the things I do is I will provide information and then ask a question at the end. Was this helpful? Can you relate? I
often say, does this resonate? Did this resonate?
I love that. Yeah. Did this resonate? Yeah. So I think it can be both. It can be both. You're providing information and then you're asking a question. The call to action is super important because people don't know what to do with your content unless you tell them. They really don't know what to do. They won't do anything. They'll literally just watch it and it can be the most incredible piece of content. They'll do nothing with it. So you have to tell people what to do. Save this if it was helpful. Follow for more what? Like, why are they going to follow you? Follow for more Instagram growth, business growth tips. Then you would know why to follow me, right? Tag, like I've used this one and tag your business bestie who needs to see this, today, or, heart if you can relate. So anyways, make sure you use a call to action, but the call to action can be a question. Like I used to say, like, do you like to dance? Yes or no? And then an arrow, right?
That's so good.
Yeah, you can just ask a question as your call to action.
And time is flying. It's 11:26. I'm just letting you know we have only a few minutes. I have another question coming in hot, but go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is a one from Jen Cox again. What are your recommendations for best time to post and how many times a day to post? Or how
Um,
many times a day do you post? She asked. And what are the best
oh,
times?
my goal is always like one reel a day. Like if I can do it, one reel a day. That's it. That's like what I do. I will say that carousels are making a comeback on Instagram. Those are not my strength. I think I'm losing some momentum by not doing this. So if that's your jam, you can totally do carousels where you're doing like photo, and yeah. So carousel is like when you see a photo and then you can like swipe through, and usually they have like their infographics. So depending on your business, like a carousel for me could be like 5 ways to grow your business on Instagram. And then you swipe. One is this, swipe. Two is this. And it's just text on the, yeah. But you could also do like pictures, like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a carousel. But anyways, if you can just post like, first of all, honestly, Jen, the answer is, so no, a carousel is not a video. A carousel is just like images, but you can now add music over carousels on Instagram. That's a new feature they added. Um, Jen, the most important thing is that you figure out what you can do sustainably. When I decided that I was going to do this, I didn't start posting 7 reels a week, like, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So you need to set it up where it's sustainable for you. So a lot of my clients, they're posting erratically, and it's usually like 1 to 3 times a week. And so we put together a strategy where it's like, and then they're accountable for posting, like they've only been doing it, once or twice a week. And it's like, okay, can you be consistent at like 2 or 3 times a week for this amount of time, right? And then it's like, it's like you're getting those reps, and then the more you do it, then we can start, because then content creation starts to become easier too, and it doesn't take quite as much time. So then if I'm saying, Jen, post 5 reels a week, you're like, I got this. Like, oh yeah, I can easily do that. So when I tell you I post every day, I don't want you to, don't let that shut you down from posting, if that makes sense. And then in terms, yes, you create a habit. Yes, Lisa, exactly. That's exactly it. A marketing habit. Like, this is just part of your marketing. Like, you should be spending at least 30 minutes a day marketing your business, 100%, right? Or delegating that. But like, hello, if people don't know what you do, then you're not going to grow your business. So, and then in terms of the best times, you can, first of all, I don't attach too much to that. It's really like testing. So you need to be posting a lot and just testing and being like, oh, I posted in the morning and it did really well, or I posted in the afternoon and like it got no views, and like literally keep doing that like over and over. So that's the best thing. Like, I know that there's people who are like 7, 9, and 12 are the best times, or like whatever. I don't really buy that, because I've had success at all different times of the day. So like every account is different. You can also, hot tip, go into your professional dashboard and click on followers, scroll down, and then you can see the times when most of your people are on the app on each day. So if you're more analytical, that could be a really helpful tool for you to go in and look. Like for my account, people are most active around like between like 9 and 1. So like a lot of times I'll post around like after 9 o'clock, or like, after lunch. Some people say don't post on the hour, because a lot of people schedule their content and they just post it on the hour. So then you're kind of competing with other people posting at that same time. So, but again, like, you guys don't get caught up in that part. Like, seriously, just create your content, post it, get curious about it, create your content, post it, get curious about it. Like, just keep going. Yeah.
And I'm just checking, double checking. Yes, Lisa did something. I've been watching Lisa. It's been so wonderful. She's consistently posted for 3 weeks every single day and has created a habit. And it's really cool to see. And beautiful posts, and using CapCut and using Instagram. So that's been awesome. In our wrap up, and I can't believe how fast this went, where can we find you for more? Because, of course, you're leaving us wanting so much more. I have actually a million questions, even more questions. And you're the reason why my bio looks the way it does and why my Instagram looks the way it does. And I want to add one more thing. She's the reason, this lady right here, that I keep most of my personal stuff now just on my stories so that my feed is all about the business. And that helped me so much because I was kicking and screaming and resisting. Like, I don't want to take cute pictures of my kids off and I don't want to not, but I can do that on my stories. My dog is there right now. Okay. So where do we find you, Elizabeth? All the places you want that we can find you.
Oh my gosh. I just want to say I love all the chat. I was like looking through the chat, and thanks for all the love you guys are giving me. I just so appreciate you guys being here. Like, it's just so fun to see your faces and hear your questions. Like, this just gives me life. So I just want to say thank you so much.
You're
And
so welcome.
okay. So, yeah. So if you're not already connected with me on Instagram, let's please connect over there. My Instagram handle is just my name, Elizabeth Marberry, and follow me, send me a direct message so I can check you out and know, like, and I can connect the dots of like who was here today. And I'm really excited. I'm working on this new masterclass called How to Convert Your Followers to Paying Clients, because you're putting all this work in to build and attract an audience. And then most of us, okay, we do that. And then we're like, but now what? Like, how do I actually convert these followers to purchasing my products or services? And that is what I love, love, love to teach on. So this new masterclass is very, very juicy, lots and lots of value. It's going to be a 90-minute masterclass. So, if you want to be on the wait list for when the doors open for that masterclass, and the people who are on my wait list are going to receive savings off of the ticket price. So when I go public with it, it'll be one price. But if you're on my wait list, then you'll receive savings. If you want to be on the wait list for the masterclass, then I want you to direct message me on Instagram, masterclass, and I will let you know about how to join our wait list. And I would absolutely love to have you guys there and serve you at a much deeper level on that.
And then I'm going to do links. I'll do after the fact, everyone, so I can keep her. Like I said, we would leave at this time. So I'm going to send links. Also, she has a wonderful podcast. So I want you all to have access to that. And Elizabeth, you're amazing. And I love so much. I think, who else said this? Oh, Hiromi sends her love. She's in our group, but she wasn't here today, able to be here today. She's doing speech therapy with her son. And so she says hi, and she did a stitch of one of your dances. I've done several of your dances, as you know, as playing with it. If anybody wants to do that, go do one of her dances and do it as a, where you can do it with, what do you call it on Instagram? Is it
a remix?
A remix. I knew there was a different term. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So much love, everyone. See you out there in Instagram land.
Bye-bye.